Hey everyone, welcome to Area 616. So, for a good while now, it's been known that John Ridley, the award-winning screenwriter of 12 Years a Slave, and not to mention his show American Crime, is writing a secret TV series for Marvel. No one knows what it's about, but in a recent interview, John Ridley not only confirmed that it was still happening, but that he was currently doing a rewrite, just to make sure that it's as perfect as possible. So it seems like this show will be officially announced pretty soon, and I actually wouldn't be surprised if it was announced at the San Diego Comic-Con this year. In any event, he also said that it sits in a very unique space. So this is what actually got me thinking. From what he's saying here, we can assume that this show, whatever it is, will in some way be unique to the other Marvel shows coming out. Perhaps it will introduce a new corner of the MCU, or maybe it will simply expand on already established sections. Who knows? Either way, today I'm going to try and guess what's going to happen. So, let's get to it. I've talked about the supernatural side of the MCU before, because it just fascinates me, and I'd be very disappointed if Marvel never further explored it. Now, it's practically impossible that John is writing a Ghost Rider show, because he started this in 2015, a good while before Marvel probably even had the idea to introduce Ghost Rider to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I would, however, like to propose one character that, if I'm being honest, feels likely to me, and that's Blade. He would definitely be unique to Marvel's other content in the fact that he's in a world of vampires, something that thus far hasn't been brought to the MCU. I don't know why, but I feel like this is the most likely choice. But I'm personally both rooting and hoping for this one, although hopefully they'll put it on Netflix instead of ABC. Blade is just simply a more violent character. I mean, it's in his name. So if he's going to be anywhere, it should be Netflix. But that's not the only supernatural characters I'm bringing up. Obviously there's Werewolf by Night and Brother Voodoo, but I'd like to really mention Elsa Bloodstone and Man-Thing. In a way, these both seem pretty unlikely, but Bloodstone would undoubtedly make for one awesome show. And while Man-Thing might seem downright impossible, maybe this isn't a flat-out TV series, but just a miniseries? And one last one, Moon Knight. He is a more street-level guy, but he does have supernatural roots. Been a ton of talk about Moon Knight lately, ever since James Gunn mentioned how he really wanted to make a Moon Knight movie for Marvel. But personally, I feel like this character would work a whole lot better in a TV show, specifically on Netflix, but who really knows? This would be a really cool show to see, and it would make sense to hire such a talented writer to tackle this pretty complex character. Okay, so next up is probably the most unlikely on this list. Howard the Duck. Like I said, most likely won't happen, partly because it doesn't seem like John writes a lot of comedy, but also because, well, it's Howard the Duck. But it's still just a thought, and it'd certainly be different. But next up are some that I think are likely. First is She-Hulk. Like I said before, I don't know how much he dabbles in more comedic stuff, and on top of that, if they can't get Mark Ruffalo to come on the show as Bruce, then they're going to have a tough time showing her origin story. But I think it's still a possibility. She-Hulk is an awesome character, and I really think that solo-wise she'd work well on TV. Plus, it increases her chances of getting into a court case against Matt Murdock, and that would be so awesome. Okay, my next suggestion is one that's kind of out there, but Agents of Atlas. As soon as he said unique, I thought about these guys. They're basically like the Guardians of the Galaxies of the 60s, but if you can imagine it, just a bit weirder. On their team, they've got Jimmy Woo, a sharpshooting agent guy, Venus, who's literally a siren, Gorilla Man, who's, well, a gorilla man with a minigun. Next up, we got M11, who's a robot. Then we have the Uranian, an alien from the planet Uranus. I will resist the urge to make a joke about that. And then finally, 3D Man, a guy who has, like, glasses that can see things most can't. And he's, like, very athletic and stuff, so yeah. Weird. But I didn't even mention the Atlantean Namora, just because I doubt she'd show up due to copyrights and all that. This would most likely be set in the 60s or 70s. Maybe they could be like one of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s early superhero teams, and this show could even fill in that mysterious gap between 1946 in Agent Carter Season 2 and December 16th, 1991 in Captain America Civil War. That'd be cool. Again, because of just the weirdness of them, this might be pretty unlikely. But I'm not gonna lie, I'd still love to see it. Okay, last one, White Tiger. Now, would this be about Hector Ayala or his daughter Ava? I don't know. But behind Blade, I actually think this might be the most likely. White Tiger is a character that is a bit more flexible than Blade violence-wise. She's more street level, but it wouldn't affect the end product if it wasn't bloody like it would with Punisher, Blade, or Deadpool. On top of that, White Tiger is just an awesome character. I recently watched this fan film about Hector on Vimeo. I put a link in the description, but it was seriously good, and it got me on board for a White Tiger show. The short actually stars John Huertas from This Is Us, and he actually did a really good job here. If they did make a show about White Tiger, he's got to play Hector. End of story. Oh, and then there's also the New Warriors, but nah. And also, the IMDb page says there's a rumor it's about Jack Flag, but seriously, who would make a TV show about Jack Flag? I mean, he's fine, but like, what would it even be about if they can't directly connect him to either Captain America or the Guardians of the Galaxy? So yeah, I'm gonna say that one's not happening. So anyway, yeah, that was 10? I think it was 10 shows there. I probably should have numbered them, but I really didn't want to pad this video's runtime out, as I'm sure it's long enough already. In any event, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and follow us on our Twitter and Facebook accounts. Links to both are in the description. Also, do let me know who you think the show will be about in the comments below. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.